We're not letting our makeup flop this year. Absolutely not. What we are going to do though is make sure that we follow my routine step by step so that there's no excuses on why your makeup is not acting right for the entire day of Eid. Because Eid is our Super Bowl. Eid is our Olympics. And what you're not going to do is mess it up by following some whack tutorial. You're gonna follow this one. You're gonna follow me. You're gonna do it with me step by step. And if you need a prep time, this is why I'm posting it at least 2 days before, okay? So let's do our faces together. We're gonna be recreating this look. I promise you, it is so much simpler than what it looks like. So without further ado, let's get into it. First step is always going to be prep. So I'm just gonna use some Tower 28 and just disinfect our face a little bit. The reason I use hypochlorous acid spray is because it's been amazing for my acne, and when it comes to Eid, we're not trying to play any games. So clean your hands, clean your face before you start. Use some of this Chia Milk Skin Toner. It is so good and the thickness is amazing and it's so soothing. And I love using a soothing toner before I do my makeup because it just feels like it lays everything so silky. They really know what they're doing in Korea, I'm telling you that much. Just go in with your moisturizer just to make sure that you are moisturized and well prepped. And that is our prep. You can honestly go in with an eye cream if you would like, sunscreen for sure, but because I'm filming this at nighttime, I'm not going in with sunscreen, but please do use a sunscreen. If you don't have an eye cream, it's fine. Just use your moisturizer. You will be okay, I promise. Now it's time to get into brows. I like to clean my brows off with a dry cotton pad before I start doing my brows because there's always gonna be leftover moisturizer on them and your brows won't stick properly if there's like oils and moisture on them. So just pro tip right there. With the Anastasia dupe from e.l.f. It's the e.l.f. Brow Freeze. Absolutely amazing. It's an amazing affordable option if you can't afford the Anastasia one. And my brows don't move. I don't do a lot to my brows, but I do like them to look clean and full, so I brush them upwards and then to the side a little bit just to create that fluffy brow look, and I just kind of line it up and line it up. Don't be scared of a little brow gel. She's there to help you and guide you. My brows and my eye makeup always take me the longest amount of time to do because I'm just a perfectionist. Ooh, and it rolls further away. Okay, that's fine. I'm not getting her. While our brows dry off a little bit, we are going to pick our brow pen. I'm gonna be using the shade Ash Brown in the front of my brows and then go in with Espresso in the back. And just create hair-like strokes at the front just to make it look a little more full. And then I go in with the deeper shade in the back. Yeah, I think I want a lighter brow today, so I think this is enough. I'm not trying to do too much, but I wanna do enough, you know? Okay, so I went ahead and concealed underneath my brows. I don't really do the top anymore, but I used to, and I still do sometimes, but not today. So next step is eyeshadow. I like to do my eyes first in case I mess up, then I could just take it off and redo it again. But first things first is I always go in with a concealer. And the reason I go in with a concealer is because, as you can see, I have a lot of hyperpigmentation on my eyes. And on a regular day, I do love it because it feels like I don't have to wear eyeshadow. But on a day like Eid, it makes it really hard for eyeshadows to stick and for the color payoff to come through. And that's why people conceal their eyeballs. I went in with the Born This Way Too Faced. Feels weird to blink. Too Faced and a bit of the Fenty Longwear Hydra Concealer. I'm gonna let the concealer sit a little bit because I do want it to be full coverage on my lids. And I will set it with a powder, but I wanna make sure that I get the payoff that I want. I know you're already watching me, so I'm not going to explain what I'm doing. I'm just going to explain how I'm doing it. So this first shade is an Auburn Burnt Orange, and it's pretty muted, so I'm just building that up with small motions of the brush. You want to hold the brush a little bit farther back towards the end, and that'll give you that ease in order to flick it the way you want to. And then I go in with a darker brown at the outer corner. By going in with the darker brown in the outer V, you're creating depth, and that's exactly what I want. And I just went back and forth between the dark brown and the auburn to get this mesh of a transitional shade. And then it's time for the favorite part that everybody keeps asking for. This is the smoked out liner. I go in with a black gel liner and I flick the brush upwards. So not only do I make the little messy cat eye look, but I flick it upwards and then I blend it out with a dark brown and a black at the same time. And if it gets too dark, I add the same transitional shades that I used before, because it's all about going back and forth and checking your other eye and making sure that it looks exactly the same. I always suggest going in, doing them at the exact same time, but because I wanted to save a little bit of time, I did one separately, but it's the same idea, flicking and using small motions in order to blend this out. you want to take your time. This look took me less than 10 minutes to do because I'm so used to doing it. It's my go-to, but you want to take your time with those small strokes, and you want to take your time when you clean it up with a cotton pad because you do not want to mess this part. Lastly, I'm going in with a neutral eyeshadow shade, but I wasn't satisfied with this shade of a neutral, so I also go in with the pressed powder that I'm going to be using underneath my eyes to set my concealer. And the reason I do this is because I want my eyeshadow and my under eye to melt into each other. I don't want you to see where it stops and where it starts. And because of that, I add some sparkles to just add a bit more dimension in, and I add some gel liner in order to help blend my natural lashes with the lash band that I put on later on. So you just curl your lashes, add your mascara, and you're good to go. The eye looks done. Now we prime. I'm going to go in with 3 different primers today. You don't have to do this, but I like doing this just because I have different reasons for why I'm going in with each primer. First primer is the Glow Recipe Hue Drops. These are just going to give me a really nice glow from within. I also don't feel the need for highlighter anymore just because it's not my tea. It used to be back in 2016, don't get it twisted. Old girl loves some highlighter, but not anymore. And I feel like it just brings some of my color back. Like, look at how glowy I am. It's so nice. And it's so hydrating. And I love the fact that it still has niacinamide. You want that tacky texture. You want it to stick to your fingers. Next, I'm going in with the Milk Hydro Grip. People love it. People hate it. I love it. And I hope that I continue to love it. And this is kind of my base for, like, if I want to make sure that my makeup is not going anywhere, these are the products that I use. Lastly, I go in with the Say Super Gel. This is in the shade Star Glow, I believe. Yeah, it's in the shade Star Glow. And I focus that on the high points of my face again because I don't highlight anymore. I still want that glow from within look. Now that we're glowy, you would think that we were done with our primers, but we're not. The Milk Eyeshadow Primer is the reason why I don't have crazy laugh lines anymore when I have my makeup on. I put that all over my laugh lines and it really helps with keeping the makeup there. And then just tap it in. You could also put this under your eyes if you have crazy creasing. I'm not going to do that today. Nah, I'm fine. Not too much. We're tapping into foundations now. You can go with whatever foundation you have on hand. I'm using the Giorgio Armani. It's going to look darker, but that's fine. My only goal is to fix the orange hue on it. I'm going to add a little bit of this blue foundation mixing pigment just so that it neutralizes a bit of the orange that shows through on the foundation. It's a pretty good match for me, but I would much rather have it a little bit more neutral, so that's what I'm going to do. This is the shade On Its Own, and I'm just going to mix it with the blue here until I get a good shade match. That's a pretty good match, but I'm going to add a little bit more blue. Now we use setting spray to blend the foundation out with it because you're supposed to use setting spray in between your base steps. You're not just supposed to use it at the end. You're supposed to use it in between if you want your base to last all day. I'm using a dewy fixing spray from Revolution, but you can use whatever fixing spray you want. If you followed along for the eyeshadow and you have your eyeshadow done, make sure that you keep your eyes low because if you open your eyes, you're going to create creasing from the setting spray and your eyeshadow. It's going to make it wet. You don't want it to crease because we worked really hard on it. Then we're just going to pat our foundation in. If you want an in-depth base tutorial, it's the first video that I ever posted on my page. You can go watch it. It is long, but I'm telling you, it's so worth it. A good chunk of setting spray, like the nozzle is kind of messed up and it went right on my eyelid. So I need to wait for it to dry before I start looking normal again. But it's fine, it's fine. A bit more to my cheeks because that's where I need the coverage. My next step is a cream bronzer. I like using a foundation stick. This one's from Basma, but you can use whatever you'd like. And that's the placement. Okay. And then for nose contour, I go in with a small angled brush and I just go down my nose and bring it into my eyebrow, just the front. It is much easier for you to do this if you take some of the contour off of your foundation stick and then just go in with the brush, because if you are not careful or unstable, you will have a messy nose contour. We cream blush. Using the Basma Beauty cream blush in the shade Cherry Red. I just take the product off with my brush and I go in to my cheek. I really love this formula, but I do feel like if you have more oily skin, you may not be crazy about this. I would say stick to powder blushes if you do have oilier skin, but if you have dry skin, you're gonna absolutely love this. And by oily skin, I'm talking like the oiliest of the oiliest, you know? Because I'm a fiend for blush, I'm gonna go in with the One Size as well in the shade Cheek Clapper. I'm just gonna take that, just add some of it. Boom, that's the pink that I needed. I got the Cherry Red, but I just needed pink. And I'm still gonna add powdered blush, but like this is just my top layer. I love adding blush to the temples of my forehead as well because I feel like it adds cohesiveness to the entire look. Blush just here can look a little bit scary, but when you add it to the temples as well, it creates this really nice flushed look all around, and that's what I love. Now I'm gonna take my foundation brush and I'm just gonna blend the blush and the bronzer together with the excess foundation on it, just so that it doesn't look too cakey. And then we're gonna go in with concealer. So I'm going to be using 3 different concealers that do 3 completely different things. So the Too Faced Born This Way is going to be my first shade. I'm going in with this one close to the inner corner, but not exactly. And this is going to help brighten. This is also the step that you would go in with a color corrector if you feel like you need one. I don't usually need a color corrector because I just go in with so much concealer, but you do what you want. You, babes, baby girl, you do what you want. All right, next we're going in with the Fenty. And I'm going in with the shade 400N, and this is a neutral shade, and this is just gonna help us blend out the lighter shade in between. And also gonna add that right here along the clean cut that I made. Around the areas. Boom. The last concealer that I'm gonna go in with is super light, super duper light, but it does its job. So I know you know this bottle. I'm not gonna say where this bottle is from, but I know you know this bottle. I already had it. Tap in. Now, one of the most important parts about your concealer, depending on the formula, is letting it get tacky because you want full coverage. If you don't want full coverage under your eyes, you do not have to wait a long time. But if you do want full coverage, I would say wait about 3 to 5 minutes until it gets tacky, because then you're gonna get the coverage that you need. So I'm gonna wait 3 to 5 minutes. Where's my water cup? I'm gonna go drink some water. I'm gonna come back and we're gonna blend this out together. And don't forget, you need your setting spray and a sponge. You can use a brush if you want, but I'm a sponge girl. Okay, you take your sponge, you make sure that it is not too damp. You want it kind of dry, but make sure that you've cleaned it beforehand. And what you're gonna do is you're going to blend in the same motion, tapping. Again, I have a full tutorial on how to do this. It's the first video on my page, and we're just gonna blend it out.
I didn't even realize that I went quiet for this part. I genuinely did not realize that I went quiet because ain't shit funny when you're trying to blend out your concealer and not have it crease. Nothing is funny, but clearly I'm showing you what I'm doing still, so I know that I'm recording. But I just took some powder on a powder puff and I distributed it evenly on the back of my hand just to spread it out on the sponge. That way I don't have patches of product under my eyes. I want a seamless blend, and that's what I got because I took my time. I did one eye at a time as well to avoid creasing, because when you're trying to set both eyes, the clock's gonna beat you, babes.
We are going to set the rest of our face. So a bit more powder on the high points where we highlighted. Blend out your laugh lines again so that you are not setting any creases. Now we can go in with our face shade to dust everything off. I depotted my powders just to make my life easier, and I suggest everybody do the same. What you're gonna do with the powders is you're just gonna dust off everywhere, and this is just gonna help blend your highlighted areas with your bronzer. With no extra powder on my brush, I'm just going to dust off the excess. Now we go in with our powder contour. All the products I use are gonna be linked below in my LTK, where you can find them easily. Okay, now that that's out of the way, we're going to set our under eyes with a pressed powder. Going in with the Fit Me because she is that girl and she will continue to always be that girl. Not only is she affordable, but you can clearly see the way that she blurs my under eye. Just look. Go in with my blush brush again to just blend that into each other. You can stop here if you'd like, or you can line your under eyes with a black eyeliner. Should I do that today? Should I not do that today? I'm gonna do it today. I am in absolute awe of how this look came out, and I cannot wait for you to eat the same way I'm eating right now. Trust and believe, if you follow the steps, step by step, and if you go back to my base video and you follow those steps, I'm telling you right now, there's no excuses for you. Literally none. I gave you the eyeshadow, I gave you the base, I gave you the ways to prevent your creasing. Now it's all up to you. So I really do hope that this Eid you eat and you leave no crumbs, because this Eid you are getting your photos, you are getting your Instagram shots. I was not expecting it to be this good, but it is that good. And you can trust and believe that this face is going to last me all day. You can trust and believe that this face is going to last you all day. You do not have to worry about any creasing. All you're probably going to have to do if you have oilier skin is just touch up some of the powder. But other than that, you are golden, baby girl. You are good. It is sultry, it is timeless, and it is absolutely that type of look that will get you compliments when you go outside in it. So good. I just really wanted this Eid look to hit for you, and I cannot wait to see how you guys make it look for you. Whatever it is, I really do hope that you are able to get the look that you want to achieve and that you have a safe Eid. Thanks for doing your makeup with me. I love you so much. Bye.